On this episode, you sell what you love. Hey everybody, this is the quarter show, and the topic that's been coming up recently, the last couple days in fact, is you sell what you love. It's so easy to sell what you love, and I've been talking to a few salespeople this week, and that's been one of the themes. Is like when I was a kid, I remember growing up and selling my dad on things. I geek out about things easily. I fall in love with things easily, and because I didn't have the money when I was growing up, I was a kid, and so I get my dad to buy it. And I would sell him. I would sell my whole life, and it was sports cars or jackets or bags or whatever, anything. But the thing about it was that I wanted it. I wanted him to have it, and I just would convince him because I was sold. I was completely sold on it. I loved it. I loved the thing, and so I've always found when you look at anything in your life, you look at any product, anything, if you love it, it's factually pretty easy to sell it, and there's that whole thing in sales, the sleazy sales thing, like sell me this pen, sell me this water. It's total BS, by the way. People pull this kind of thing because it's like, because it's just sleazy sales tactic, weird stuff. And I know there are people out there that think that's so cool, but the truth is that authentic sales is actually authentic, and it actually is something you love, right? And if you're at your company, I mean, when I think about products I love, like I got the new iPhone 7, for example, and I'm a total Apple fanboy, like admittedly, and I freaking love this thing. It's my favorite iPhone yet. Like for me to convince somebody else to buy this is so unbelievably easy for me, because I can get behind it. And it's the same thing with your product or service or whatever you're doing. If you love it, obviously you have to be this cliche of like you have to be sold, but it's not really cliche. It's really, really true. You have to be sold on it. But in order to be sold, you have to love it, And so when you're looking at a product or service that you're trying to pitch your client, the question is, do you love the product or service? Do you love what you're selling? Do you love the product or service you're selling? And then do you love their company and what it's going to do? If you can get there, you can accomplish anything. And and all you have to do is start like looking in your life, and you look at like jackets you loved and cars you loved and things that you've bought and things that you love, and then think about talking to your friends or family or other people about it, and you start looking at this thing and you're like, wow, it's true. It's like the easiest thing to sell in the world is the thing that you love, right? And so before you take any action, before you call customers and you call prospects or whatever, it's a mistake to call them unless you're there, unless you're like, you've concluded that you love it, you've concluded that you're sold on it, and then from there it just becomes, it's simple. It's simple, and I was saying this, it came up because I was talking about a couple different products, and we had some newer products that we launched, and
he was talking to me.
And two other guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was this theme, and the thing about it for me is like we have this thing called the product box, and then our sales map. And for me, there's not one product that we have that I don't love. We have this product or this service or this thing, and I geek out about all of it. Like I personally love it, which makes it incredibly simple for me to sell it. I love Amazon. I love books. I could sell people on books. I love running. It's easy for me to talk about running and sell people on running, right? And I love Apple products. I just love. I love Apple as a company. I think it's one of the greatest companies that ever existed. And it's just easy for me to talk about that.
Yeah, the thing is, like earlier today, like I love Richter. I love I love our products. I love how we go about it. I love what we deliver to people. I know that whatever amount of money a client's going to spend with me is going to be worth what they're spending. So I don't have any reservation about that. But we got into a specific product and a specific service that we're doing, and I didn't fully understand it. I mean, I did. I knew what it was, but I didn't fully understand the effect and the implication. So Rob sort of walked me through. He walked me through what it was going to be about. And as as I started to understand it more and understand it more, I started to get fired up. And I was like, I gotta call this guy, Robert. You gotta stop talking to me about this thing. I gotta get on the phone now, because like, I love this thing now. But but prior to that, I pitched the guy twice on a voice memo and a voicemail and an email, but I really wasn't behind it. So I'm like, Rob, can you get on the phone with me and talk with Eddie at Prestige Alarm, by the way. If you need an alarm system, if you need stadium, small business, home, go to Eddie at Prestige Alarm. He'll take care of you. Look him up. He has amazing stuff. And I was like, can you get on the phone with me with Eddie? And Robert's like, okay. Something's wrong here, because this is not how you go about it. I'm like, I know.
Like, the only reason I'll get roped in the conversation, the only reason, is because he's not totally, like, doesn't totally understand the thing, is not totally in love with it, which means he's not totally sold on it, and there's just that level of back off in the cycle or in the product or in the service. It creates a reservation and a conservatism on the sale, and then this sort of like lack of confidence. And so I said the only reason I would be there is, number one, because you're not totally in love with it or totally understand and totally sold on it. And so you want me to come in because you know that I am, and then I can come in and do my thing. So we kind of went through this whole thing, and then he was like, okay, I get it, I'm in, totally. Because it's a newer thing, but still, it's, you know, obviously for me, I'm often wearing the product architect hat here. And so it's very easy for me to fall in love with things that I have a hand in creating or coming up with. But you can look at this analogy in anything, and in your company, if you're an owner or an entrepreneur or in sales in any magnitude, if you're having trouble selling something or people aren't getting back to you when you leave voicemails, one thing to really look at and be like, am I in love with this, and has that translated over the phone and all of my fiber into it? We talked about an early episode about putting all your fiber into it. Did I put all my fiber into this thing? And am I completely passionate and in love with it? And if you're not, like, the chance of them getting back to you, the chance of the sale happening, the chance of anything going anywhere is very slim, right? But you have to take a step back and look at it. If you're not sold on it, first of all, if you're not sold on it, get out of there, or fix it, or whatever, or don't sell that product. Either don't sell that product, and if it's company-wide and all the different things, like, just get out of there.
And this is the problem, by the way, in terms of hiring and sales. If you are an entrepreneur or owner, I've seen this a little bit. I don't have a huge breadth of experience, but I've seen it, and I think I know what it is, right? I see these maybe small size, mid size, whatever companies, and they hire salespeople. And there's nothing wrong with hiring young men and women. There's nothing wrong with hiring kids who are young, folks who are young, and or older, whatever. Doesn't, but like, you know what I mean? Like, and I see them. They come in their tennis shoes and their hoodies, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I got tennis shoes and hoodies, but you get the idea. And they're not hatted on the product. They're being hired to dial and dial and dial and call, and that is so much BS, because I picked up those phone calls and I feel bad for those salespeople, so I don't treat them bad. I don't treat them bad. I go, hey, I appreciate you being there. I appreciate you doing it. Hey, thanks anyway, man. Because they're not pitching me. They don't understand what they're selling. They're not sold. You got to make them evangelists. You put them through a one-day thing, and if they can't be interested and go after you're like, this is a course in evangelicalism regarding product or service that we have.
And ask them. Yeah. Why do you love this?
Right.
What do you love about this? Like, before they're picking up the phone. Before they're picking up the phone, before they send an email like, hey man, what do you love about this product or this service or this client, or like the thing, and this whole, why does this make sense to you?
And give them a chance to learn about it. Don't just tell them, sit them down. Okay, first things first, why are you here? Okay, well, that's a bunch of BS. You don't know about my product service. Hat them, teach them, do it fast. Get them to the point where they know why your product or service is better, why it's worth the money, why it's not in competition with something else, and then ask them that, and then get them on the phone and get them going. My wife and I, we bought a car for her the other day, and the fellow we talked to, he was not a salesperson. He was in the finance office, but they were short-staffed. But he'd already sold like 2 or 3 cars that day, and he sold us our car at the end of the day, the final sale of the day, and it was awesome. He was on it, and he knew why the vehicles they were selling were better and different, what set them apart, and the reasons why, and here's what you need, and paid attention, listened to us, and got us what we wanted. And it was awesome. And he was not necessarily a salesperson, he wasn't all that hatted on it, but he did a great job with us. So you got it. That's how you get to the like when you really want it. So when you hire your salespeople, hire a bunch of young kids. Put them on the phone. Have them calling all the time, but get them fired up first so they know why they're doing it.
They should be in love with it, you know. And I know it sounds funny, but it's like they need to be in love with the product or the service. Otherwise, what are they doing there? You know, you can't. It's not just a numbers game. It's not. You know, and the truth is that's going to translate. If they're making those just numbers game sales, now it goes over into your customer base is that kind of thing, and it just.
And don't hire those kids that then they're going to get somebody hot on the line and pass it off and go Rico and pass it off to the president, the CEO, whatever. Don't do that. Rob doesn't do that. We're building, like, you want to learn about sales? You contact Richter. We're going to hatch you up on sales, because trust me, this company knows sales like you wouldn't even believe. We're building out a sales team.
And that's not even what we sell. Like,
no, it's not what we sell.
We don't sell. You know,
I'm
like,
just
the thing is,
consultation.
We could tell people all the time, but we don't sell sales. We're not a sales instructor or trainer. Like,
we should sell sales.
We're an agency. You know, we're an agency. We help companies drive sales. We just live and breathe this stuff constantly because communication and it all ties in and everything in there. But we're drunk on the Kool-Aid. You know, we're drunk on this kind of stuff. We love communication. We love the agency side. We love what we do. We love helping drive companies' growth and things like that. Not a cliche thing or a mission statement for the wall, but literally that's what we do. And for me, I love this stuff. I love ads. I love ad agencies. I love creative. I love communication. So it's easy for me to sell. Like, I love the work we do. So it's easy for me to sell because I love it. You know, it's super easy to sell things you love. So just keep that in mind. It's like, forget your company for a second. Think about anything, the last product that you just love. You know, for me, it's like GoPro. I as well. I somehow just love those little cameras, and I love those little stands, and I love watching the kind of footage they get. And I sit there mesmerized watching those little stands. They just came out with a new Karma drone thing, and the new camera, and the new GoPro 5, the Hero 5. I'm like, I'm literally trying to figure out why I need to buy this. Like, you know, like, and I don't. But it's like, how could I probably need it because I'm in love with it.
You should buy it first and figure it out later.
Right? Like, I'll buy it and then I'll figure out the reason. But that's what you do with things you love. You try and figure out why you need it. You know, and so you have to get there with all of your products that you're selling, and then you have to look at your prospects that you're selling. Why do you love them? Why do you love the solution to the problem? Then it's easy. And I tell you, the people who have the hardest time, they're not in love. They don't love it. They're not, and because they don't love it, they're not sold. They're not sold. And then they're struggling. And they're like, oh, this and that. But if you take it all the way back, you're like, wait a minute, let's go back to the beginning. Why do you love this? Why do you love this product? What? They're just trying to hawk something. They're just trying to hawk something to get a commission.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's a hard way to sell.
It's not what you want.
So make sure that point is in. All right? More coming at you soon. Hit the like button. We really appreciate it. Share it on social and subscribe to the channel. Okay? Thanks all.
iPhone 5, by the way, is a better phone. And what you should know about the phone, it's known as the founder's phone, right? Because it's the last phone that Steve Jobs himself spent his genius on. It's a piece of perfection, right?
I love it.
This thing has a lot of fancy, the 7 has a lot of fancy gadgets, but I want to sell you on this. Now listen, I love the founder's phone because that's Steve Jobs' legacy. It's a piece of technological perfection.
Yeah, we're going to keep it and put it in a crystal box, but this one is the best yet.
I don't see Steve Jobs' name on that, but I got you. Okay.
This one is the best yet.